Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Sunday meal prep video. It's been over a month since I have said those words. I want to just take a quick minute to say thank you all so much for your patience and for your understanding. While I've been sick this past month, I am feeling so much better. I know a lot of you are concerned about me, taking it too fast, and I promise you I will listen to my body. If I'm prepping today, I will stop if I get too tired. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm doing some pretty easy things today, so I should be all right. And I'm also only going to be pre-packaging one dinner. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kristi. I'm currently following the WW Blue program. However, I do provide the points for all three programs on my channel, and I will also link you to the recipe. So if you're not following WW, you're maybe counting calories or using some other program, then you can get the nutritional facts off the recipe. I meal prep for my husband and I for the week. I usually do 3 breakfasts and 3 lunches. I don't like to prep out too much farther than that because then it's not quite as fresh. So on the menu for this week, for breakfast I'm going to do blackberry pancake bake. Y'all know I love my pancake bakes, so I usually do something different in them each time. So for this one I'm going to do my blueberry pancake bake, but instead of the blueberries I'm just going to be putting blackberries in there. And for lunch this week, so excited to have pizza Pinwheels again. It has been so extremely hot here in Florida, so I didn't want a hot lunch this week, so I thought pizza Pinwheels will be so good. I've actually only made these one time before and they turned out really good. And then like I said, for my dinner kits, I just have one dinner to pre-package. So if you want to see how I meal prep for this week, then stay with me. So let's get going. For this recipe, super easy. I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees. I have a 13 by 9 inch pan sprayed with cooking spray. Now I'm just gonna put all the ingredients in my infamous red bowl and just mix them up, super easy. So for this recipe, I'm using Kodiak cakes, and I've mentioned this before, but for any new people, I will mention it again. I need 2 cups of the Kodiak cakes, but when you measure out 2 cups of something like this, like flour consistency, 2 cups is always more than what it actually weighs. So for things like flour and pancake mix, I always weigh these out. So on this one, half a cup is 53 grams. So I'm gonna need 2 cups, which is gonna be 212 grams. So I'm just gonna weigh out 212. Okay, I need 1.5 cups of unsweetened almond milk, and I just use the Silk unsweetened almond milk. I sometimes use the unsweetened vanilla flavor too. That is really good in there. I also have here 2 ripe bananas. They're overripe bananas actually. And what I usually do is when my bananas get really overly ripe, I just put them in a baggie and toss them in my freezer, and that way I have them. I just mark on there. I have some in there that have 3 bananas, 2 bananas, and that way I have them when I go to make these. And I also am going to put in there 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 1 egg. Without the shell. And then just mix that up real well. Alright, and then once that's all mixed, now we are just going to fold in about 1 cup of blackberries. So this is where your pancake bake can be whatever you want. I have a blueberry pancake bake, which I do everything the same, but I use blueberries. I'm using blackberries this time. So I'm just going to fold these in. 1 cup is about the equivalent of a small container. So I bought 2 containers. These were actually BOGO. So what I'll do is I'm going to fold in one of them, and then these ones we'll just put on the side with it. So the blackberries are not, they're a little bit more delicate than blueberries. So I'm not sure if they're gonna kind of turn into mush or not. Then we're gonna take our pan and just pour that right into it. So I probably should have cut the blackberries a little bit because they're a lot bigger than blueberries, but that's okay. So now if you want, you can take the cinnamon and just sprinkle a little bit more on there if you want. That's completely optional. And I'm going to put them in the 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes. Okay, so now we're moving on to lunch, and like I said, for lunch prep, I'm doing pizza pinwheels. These are 6 points on all programs. That is because I use Prego traditional sauce. So I use 1 point worth of Prego traditional. If you wanted to use like a 0 point marinara, then yours would just be 5 points. The other thing that I normally use is for the mozzarella. I usually get the block of part skim mozzarella and I shred it up myself. I usually use Polly-O, which the Polly-O brand is 2 points for 1 ounce. They didn't have that, so I had to get this different brand, and this one is actually 3 points for 1 ounce. So just keep in mind that when I talk about the points, it's going to be based on the Polly-O because that's what I have on the recipe. So I'm just going to know in my mind and in my tracker that I'm going to have to count an extra point for mine. So for this one, you eat it cold. You just put everything on the wrap. So let me go through the ingredients real quick. You need Olay Extreme Wellness Wraps. Make sure to get the high fiber kind because those are the ones that are 1 point. I think there's another kind that's also a point, but I'm not sure which one it is. You will also need, for each one, you're going to need 1 ounce of part skim ricotta cheese, 1 ounce of the part skim mozzarella, which like I said, I've just hand shredded it. You will also need 1 point worth of turkey pepperoni. And the reason I say 1 point worth is because it depends on the brand you use. So on my recipe, which by the way, I link all the recipes that I'm going to be doing down in the description box below. And it will have the points for everything. Because I think I forgot to tell you on the pancake bake, that is 3 points on all programs. So anyway, back to the pepperoni. On the original recipe, I used Publix brand turkey pepperoni. For that one, you could have 12 slices for 1 point. If you're using the Hormel, you can have 15 slices for 1 point. So just keep that in mind. It will depend on the turkey pepperoni you use. And then the other thing that I use is just some red pepper and green pepper that I just dice up real small. That's completely up to you. I don't add tomatoes or mushrooms or anything like that since I'm prepping these ahead of time. I just don't want the moisture to kind of make it soggy. So that's, if you're making them fresh, you definitely could add whatever you want. And then for the Prego or marinara or whatever you're using for sauce, I don't put that on here for the same reason. I don't want it to get soggy. I just put these in little containers. I get these at the Dollar Tree, and I just put the point worth in there. So what I'll do is I will show you how to do one, and then I'll go through and put the rest of them together. Okay, so I weigh everything on a scale, and I weigh everything in grams. So for the ricotta, I'm going to need 31 grams. Whoa. And then just kind of spread that around the wrap. And then for the mozzarella, 1 ounce is 28 grams. And you want to try to get it as close to the sides as you can, because otherwise you're going to have ends. Usually what I do is I cut these into about 6 pieces. And if you don't spread it to the side, then the ends aren't really going to have anything in it. So now put your however many slices of turkey pepperoni that you'll be using. So since I'm doing the Hormel, it's going to be 15 pieces. Okay, so I'm actually just going to do 14 pieces because I just noticed this only has 5 servings of 17. So if I put 15 on each one, I'm not gonna have enough for that last one. And as you can see, 14 is perfect. So that's what we're gonna do. And then I'm just gonna put some peppers on it. I've got green peppers and red peppers. You could add onion if you prefer, anything you want. So then all you're gonna do is just roll it up. Just like so. Then I'm gonna get my container. And now I'm just gonna cut them into slices. And then just set them in the dish. I have room in the dish, so I'm probably gonna put, I don't know, I may put like some vegetables in there or something, maybe like some cucumbers or something. So now I'm gonna weigh out my Prego, and I want 1/8 of a cup, which is 30 grams. And there we go. So that will go in there, and then like I said, I'll have something else with it. I may cut up some cucumbers and throw those in there or something. So that's all there is to that. So now I'm just gonna go through and put the rest together. All right, before I do that, I wanna show you the pancake bake. So I just took it out, it's been in there 30 minutes. As you can see, it does rise pretty well, but now it will start to flatten. And I'm gonna set this aside and let it cool while I put the lunches together. So I decided to throw together just a very small side salad with this. I have some romaine lettuce and cucumbers. And that's all I'm gonna put in it. And I'm gonna go ahead and wash and cut all of this. All right, let me get my salad washed and I will come right back. I'm gonna do it off camera. You don't have to watch me do this. I'm gonna just transfer these into a different container so that I can put the salad in one side and then I'll put these in the other side. All right, so the lunches are done. So I'm not sure if you noticed when I was going through that, I actually ended up having to use less pepperoni because I was running low from that package. So next time I'll have to remember that I need to buy 2 packages of that if I want to use the 15 on each one. But it's still going to be plenty of pepperoni in there. I had to change containers because I decided on doing a side salad with these, and I was afraid the moisture from the salad would seep into the wraps. So I just took my OXO salad spinner. I love this thing. And I washed the lettuce. I'm using romaine, spin dried it, and then I just put a cucumber. I had a cucumber in my fridge that I wanted to use up, and the leftover peppers that I had from the pizza Pinwheels. I had a bunch of leftover. I cut up way too much, so I put that on there. So that's going to be a good lunch. And then what I'll do is we'll sprinkle just a light touch, not even a point worth of light Italian dressing on the salads. So usually I would put them in a container, but like I said, it's just gonna be a very light splash. So I'm gonna set those aside, and the pancake bake is done, so I'm gonna get that into the containers. All right, I have washed my blackberries. So I have about 4 that I'm gonna just put in the other side of the container, and then we can just throw those on them after we reheat the pancakes the day we have them. So now I'm gonna cut this into, I actually cut it into 12, and then that way we have 2 pieces in each container. So that's what it looks like. And then I will put some sugar-free syrup with those. So let me get them dished out. So I was going to put the syrup into individual containers and put them in here, which is what I usually do, but I decided just to use these 2 things, and then that way we will each use this for all 3 days. So I'm doing 1/8 of a cup for each day. So 1/8 of a cup of Mrs. Butterworth sugar-free is 0 points. So if you use more than that, just make sure to count the points. And I think this is going to be just enough without having to open a new one. So I have 3/8 of a cup in each container, which is 90 milliliters. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I have 1 dinner to prepackage, and then I just have a cantaloupe to cut up. So let me put this away, and then I'll come back to you with the 1 dinner. All right, y'all, so I think I'm going to make it through. So this is it, 1 dinner kit to make this week. I did that kind of on purpose because I knew that I didn't want to overdo myself. So I feel like I need to do a separate video to explain how I do my dinner kits, because I feel like those of you who watch me all the time have got to get sick of hearing me, but you can kind of fast forward a little bit. So for those of you who are new, how I do my dinner kits is basically the same as like a meal delivery kit that you would get delivered to you. I'm just weighing everything out and portioning it and putting the ingredients into the bag. I'm not cooking or anything. Just having it right on hand, so the night that I get home and I make it, I just pull it right out of the fridge. So for this night, I'm doing garlic herb pork tenderloin with roasted potatoes and carrots and gravy. This one is 9 points on blue, 6 points on purple, and 12 points on green, because I use quite a bit of potatoes in this one. I used 12 ounces of carrots and 12 ounces of potatoes just for the 2 of us. So we each have 6 ounces of potatoes each, which is a lot, but we really like this. We cut this into like French fry strips for the carrots and the potatoes, and we just really like it. So if you don't want the points as high, you can definitely cut down on the potatoes. So I'm just going to weigh out the carrots, and really I don't necessarily have to do that because the carrots are 0 points for me on blue. So the only thing I'm going to do now is I am going to just cut the ends off. But I don't peel them or wash them or anything like that. I'll do that the night that we have them. Okay. And then just put those down in the bottom. And I want 12 ounces of potatoes. That's close enough, 11 and a half. The next thing I'm gonna do is put together my topping. Oh, and I have, I thought I had it out. I used the Heinz Homestyle pork gravy for this. So in here I have a half a cup of that. We each have a quarter of a cup, and that way I just heat it up and drizzle it over both our dishes. It's already weighed out, and I know how many points it is. So the next thing I'm going to do is just put the topping together for the pork tenderloin real quick. So for this one, I need a garlic clove, and I'm going to grate it. Just cut the ends off. I'm going to take my little cheese grater here, and I'm just going to grate that without cutting my fingers. All right, and I have in this container, and a lot of people ask me where I get these with the screw-on tops. These are actually containers that I got back a long time ago when I used to do the meal delivery kits. I've done Home Chef, Blue Apron. I tried a whole bunch of them years ago. So I just saved these. So in here I have a half a tablespoon of olive oil. I'm gonna add that grated garlic to that. I'm then going to take some chives and just chop them up. And I have, the recipe calls for 1/4 of an ounce. So it's probably, I would say maybe about a tablespoon. And you can use fresh chives, or you can use, if you have like dried chives, you can use those as well. I've done both. And finally, the last thing we need is a tablespoon of stone ground mustard. And that's it. Mix it all up. And that will be the topping for the pork tenderloin. So that goes in the bag. And finally, I have already portioned out 10 ounces of pork tenderloin. So my husband and I will split that. We'll each have 5 ounces. And I just seal it in there, and then I just put it in my fridge. We'll be having this one Tuesday night, so it'll just be in my fridge for 2 nights. So usually, a lot of people ask me if I put these kits in the freezer or the fridge. I always put them in the fridge. I usually only do out to Wednesday night with these dinner kits. And normally the meat that I put in here has come out of my freezer, so it's still frozen, and it will still be frozen in my fridge for maybe at least a day. So it will be completely, perfectly fine. So I'm gonna put that away. And the last thing I'm gonna do real quick is just cut a cantaloupe up, and that will be our snacks for this week. And also, to let everybody know, anything that you see me using in today's meal prep video, like my salad spinner, my scale, my reusable bags, anything like that, I always try and do a direct link down in the description box below. So if I miss something, you don't see it down below, check my store. I will put a link to my Amazon store and you can check it there. So let me put that away and cut up my cantaloupe. So you may have noticed in my meal or my grocery haul video that I actually also had a pineapple. So let me tell you about my pineapple. I realized pineapples for me are like cherries are. I can't have them. I literally ate that whole pineapple in 2 days. So that's pretty much how I have been overeating lately, is on fruit. So I guess I just kind of need to back off of fruit for a little bit. Melon I usually do okay, so I'm safe there. So let me get everything out and show you what we ended up with. Let me start down here with the snacks. I have my puddings. These are 2-point puddings that I have. I have actually been mixing those in a bowl. I have the 2-point pudding. I do 1 point worth of fat-free Cool Whip and 1 point worth of PB2. So basically I just put the pudding and the Cool Whip in a bowl. I sprinkle in the PB2 and I mix it all up. So for a 4-point snack, that is so good. And then I have a couple bananas left that we need to use up, so I probably will have those maybe tomorrow. And then my cantaloupe and the breakfast, as you can see, those turned out so good. If you have not had my pancake bakes, I just want to say that these are not sweet. They're not like a cake. So they're basically like pancakes, not overly sweet. But you could definitely add in some artificial sweetener if you want, or stevia or anything like that. But for me, the syrup is what sweetens it, so that's why it's fine for me. And then I just have 4 blackberries in there. I'll take these out and heat up the pancakes, and then I'll just put the blackberries on top of it. So like I said, those are 3 points each, and then 0 points for the syrup, and that is 3 points on all programs. And then these are the lunches, and oh my gosh, with that salad, these look so good. My husband came in and he was really excited for lunch this week. So like I said, these are 6 points on all programs. That is with the Prego. So if you use 0 point marinara, then it would just be 5 points. But like I said, be careful of the cheese that you use. Be careful of the pepperoni that you use. If you don't use exactly what is on my recipe that I'm going to link down below, then just make sure to put it into your tracker and make sure. Honestly, I always recommend, no matter where you get a recipe from, always put it in your tracker until you really trust that website. Mine can have errors, anybody's can have errors. I mean, we're human, so that's just a recommendation. So again, 5 points for the actual pinwheels, and then 1 point for my sauce, and 0 points for the salad. And then, like I said, I'm just gonna be putting a splash of this on there, not even enough to count it as a point. And then my only dinner kit that I have this week is garlic herb pork tenderloin, and that's with roasted potatoes, carrots, and gravy. 9 points on blue, 6 points on purple, and 12 points on green. And I forgot to mention why I only did one. When we have salmon tomorrow night, I'm just going to be having the 90-second rice with it and frozen Brussels sprouts. So I decided that I'm not even going to bother prepping that. I can do that tomorrow. And the other nights that we're doing, my husband is going to do barbecue chicken Wednesday night. So, and Thursday night we're having sub. So that's why I only did the one. Alright everyone, so that is it for meal prep this week. Thank you so much for watching. I made it through. I feel fine. I'm good. I promise I will rest after this. So if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I'll put all the links down below for everything, like I said, the recipes and the things I use. So thank you all so much for watching. If you're new, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Also click that notification bell so you're notified anytime I upload new content. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. I'm Kristi, and I'm planning us healthy.